Why hello there everybody, it is I, Tony, and welcome back to another episode of TTBurger Game Reviews, and welcome to another multi-part review here, and today I bring you all episode 126, part 1 of 4. Yeah, I know, once again I've been doing 4-part reviews stuff like that, but like, it's just a lot of game series do have 4 parts or more in stuff, so that's basically what it is there. But today I want to talk about a series that pretty much started out on the PlayStation in the year 1997, and it was an original idea for its time, and pretty much expanded and got popular as time went on. I'm talking about the Armored Core series, and like those of you who grew up with the PlayStation know have pretty much played this game or played the expansions and stuff and more and more. And there were a lot of games in the series, there were a lot of expansions and spin-offs there. But for today, though, I'm only going to be looking at 4 of the games here and stuff, because like that's pretty much all I need to cover, and this will be in 4 parts, like I said. Part 1, we're going to look at the original Armored Core. Part 2, Armored Core 2. Part 3, Armored Core 3. And Part 4, Armored Core 4. Now, I know what you're all thinking. What about the expansions in Armored Core 4 and Armored Core 5 and stuff? Well, one, the expansions, I don't own the expansions, because I feel like expansions in games are like a waste of money and stuff. And like, it just pretty much is something that should have been on the main game from the start, so I just really didn't care for the expansions or didn't really care for buying them. And Armored Core for answer was very dull and shallow and just wasn't really worth owning. I did own it, but I didn't really like it that much. And Armored Core 5 was just awful. It sucked. It pretty much changed everything around into a strategy simulator, and I didn't like that at all. So I didn't really get into those. But we're gonna be looking at 4 of the games here, and got a lot to talk about here. We're going to get started with part 1. We're going to look at the original Armored Core for the PlayStation released in the year 1997 by From Software. And all I'm going to say is that like Armored Core here was a great way to introduce the series, since it was the original idea for its time. It definitely worked really well because there weren't that many Mech Combat games like this out for the consoles. Sure, you had some on the PC like Mech Warrior and stuff, but nothing like this on the PlayStation. I feel like this started the trend for Mech Combat games for consoles, and it worked really well, and it would spawn sequels, expansions, and more. The first game in the Armored Core 4 franchise is a great game, but you know that when you play this game, improvements were to be made in certain aspects. But let's get started here. For the story here, you play as a pilot called the Raven, who is the protagonist of the series. As the Raven, you're a mercenary who pilots a little mech called the Armored Core, also known as the AC for short. As you take on missions by certain companies and make money and more, and you get mail for like more missions there and stuff. There's not much of a story here, but for a game like this, it's understandable. It's an action mech combat game, and there's not going to be much story. It's just going to be an excuse to for you to go and destroy something, kill an opponent, stuff like that, do this and that, rescue people, and more. It's basically the story, the story is there. Now, like I said, there's not much for the story, so it's understandable. For graphics, the game looks fantastic for a game released in 1997. The Armored Core model looks very detailed and moves really well and realistically, and the explosions and the fire and weapon effects animate really well too. The enemy models do look good, while they can look kind of like dull at times, because like you see them very often after a while. They still look good there. The CG cutscenes look great and are very colorful and detailed, and the backgrounds are very large and also have a lot of detail to them for the most part. But I say for the most part because some of them can come off as generic and bland. Like some of them are like corridors that just look the same, just look kind of dull. But for the most part, the environments look great. And also the frame rate can bog down at times when there's a lot of action going on the screen, but this is rare though in my opinion, so you won't really notice the frame rate issues, so I'm just saying that like there are times where like it won't be 100% stable. For sound, there's not much to say here. You have great music, which you kind of have like lounge-like music and like techno tracks and stuff, which sound very actiony feel-like and stuff, and some of them sound very lounge-like and stuff too, like when you're at the main menu too, and that's cool there. Like it sounds kind of relaxing when you're in the menu hearing that song loop in the background. It's really nice there. And the voice acting is good, although there isn't much voice acting to it. It's still good for the most part. And the other sounds, such as like the weapon effects, and the explosion sound and stuff, and everything else, like when you jump and stuff, sound good. For the most part, the sound is good. I wish there could have been more voice acting, but it's understandable because it was released in 1997. Now for the gameplay, what's to say about the gameplay? It's great, fun, innovative, and it's a fun game overall, not without its flaws though. For starters, like I said, this is a mech combat action game where you pilot an Armored Core, also known as the AC, and you pretty much just go out and do missions. These missions range from destroying targets, rescuing people, protecting a key target, and clearing objectives in like a certain time, and more and more and more. And there are a lot of missions in this game. There are a lot of missions that are fun. Like there's about like 100 missions, and you won't be doing all of them and stuff because you choose mission stuff. Then once you choose certain missions, like the one mission goes away. But still, it's fun to you can go back and replay them and stuff after you beat the game. And I will admit a lot of these missions are fun, but some of them can be very frustrating with the difficulty at times. Like there can be difficulty where like an opponent will just like gang up on you and stuff, and you won't give you a chance with a time limit and stuff. You can get lost and stuff like that. I'm sure you have a map, but the map isn't the greatest, and you can get lost more. And along with some of the environments looking similar to one another, it's hard. You can easily get lost there with the difficulty and stuff. But that's just my opinion, though. And there's like a lot of missions to keep you entertained for sure. And you can also customize your AC by buying new parts and weapons with the money you get at the end of each mission. But you will get money deducted for damage you sustain in the missions, along with ammunition and if you accidentally kill civilians and stuff, civilian casualties and stuff. But I like it because it adds challenge to it, and like once you once you get stuff to customize and unlock for your AC, it'll be fun. You can also color your AC. You can even make little emblems too for your AC to put on there and stuff. And I just kept it green because that was the default color. I was fine with keeping it green, so I didn't really have a problem with it being green. And just like it's cool that you can do that there. But I'm gonna talk about a negative part here. And the controls are good, but they are very stiff, like a flatbed semi carrying like 40 some pounds of metal, and it just strafing and turning feel very clunky. And hell, even when you move in that steel, it feels kind of clunky. Sure, like it adds realism to it because it's gonna run slow, but just like when you turn around and stuff, it just feels very stiff and clunky. Especially even when you aim too. Aiming can be a little slow. It's gonna take time for you to get used to this. So don't think that you can just jump in and just like breeze through, because this is gonna take time for you to get used to. And while I understand challenge there, the controls could have been better. In fact, in 2000 they released a reprint version of Armored Core with DualShock analog-to-lock controls for people who like using the analog there. And also with the difficulty being very tough in certain missions, it can also make the game frustrating and hard with the steep learning curve as well. But they get better once you get used to it. You also have a multiplayer mode where you and another player can battle head-to-head, which can be fun, but where's the co-op at? It would have been nice if this game had some co-op multiplayer to play. That would have been fun, but that's not the case here at all. But aside from that, though, there really isn't much else to say. I mean, Armored Core is definitely a great way to introduce the series here, and while it did have its flaws, it's still a fun game, definitely, and definitely would recommend picking up if you want some mech comedy, because From Software did a great job. This was the original idea for its time, and it worked really, really well. So my final rating here goes like this. I have some complaints with this game. I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't a perfect game, but it's still. I had fun with it. Definitely. I mean, it was a great start for Armored Core, and it definitely showed there that I knew that improvements were to be made. The complaints that I have with the game, I will be taking some points off here, but I'll still be getting it a high score of an 8 out of 10 because it's the best score to give it, definitely. And that's pretty all I gotta say there. Stay tuned for episode 126, part 2 of 4. We're gonna be looking at the first Armored Core game on the PlayStation 2, called Armored Core 2. Now, how does this game fare from its predecessor? Find out next. And like I said before, I'm not reviewing the expansions of the original Armored Core, so sorry. I don't own them. I don't care. I don't want to get the expansions because they're just like a waste of money. So I know they add improvements to the first game, but I feel like the first game was fine the way it is. So no expansions. Sorry about that, people. But as like I said before, we're gonna be looking at Armored Core 2 with the PlayStation 2. Next on episode 126, part 2 of 4, which all I gotta say, this is Tony, peace and out.